I'm very happy that we have had this workshop for the last 2 days, especially it's the first workshop which is being organized on climate change as being a top priority subject after we have had the strategic plan for small branches just 2 months ago in August. Well, we met, we discussed, we brainstormed our ideas about climate change, and the most important is that we dealt with experts. We had the facilities of the United Nations experts. And although in my speech I said we are the victims as small states because we are not the polluters, on the other hand, there are areas where we could also do ourselves without recurring to what the big players are doing. For example, the question of the plastics, how we can stop the use of the plastics and how we can manage better our immediate oceans, ocean management. I gave examples to that. But more to that is that we have to do the immediate things following the ICC report, which was a very negative report, and which has a severe warning. We cannot wait not to do anything until we expect somebody else to do. We have to do it. So the small branches, the small states of the Commonwealth in this workshop have realized very strongly that what they were doing, they need to strengthen more their action. And this is something which we led also by example. I referred also to countries, including my country, Malta, where we are leading by example. We changed, for example, the main energy production of the power station of our country, which was dependent on the coal and the heavy fuel oil, and we changed that in 3 years to a clean gas production. So also the question of renewable waste products, how you change that into energy, and all these, once a small country or small countries can do, we can lead by example. This is very important. Now the other thing is what we can do internationally. This is of paramount importance. I mean, the CPA, notwithstanding we are the small branches, we are leading by example. For example, we can vouch our solidarity, our strong voice in this international forum. For example, during this workshop, during the 2-day workshop, there was a very important development in the European Union, where a Commonwealth country, Malta, which is a small state within the CPA small branches, thanks to its report on meeting the challenges of climate change, the report presented by a member of parliament from the European Parliament was endorsed by all the environmental ministers, and they agreed to meet the challenges by 2025, 2030, 2040. So as I was saying, I mean, notwithstanding you are a small state, I mean, we can take Malta, for example, which is a small state within the Commonwealth and a small branch, I mean, less than 500,000, yet because it is concentrating very strongly on the question of climate change, Malta, through its member of parliament in the European Union, made a strong report to the big players that we should abide to the challenges that are clearly defined in the Paris Treaty. And that report was endorsed by all the ministers of the environment of the European Union. And that is something that is an example that small states can also make their influence in the international forum with other players, which are big states. And also, this is an example that Malta and other states with the Commonwealth, they changed the energy from coal or heavy fuel oil to clean energy, to gas. For example, in Malta, the power station is now dependent only on gas, 75%. 25% is from the grid between Malta and Sicily. And the other is dependent on renewable energy, like the sun energy, wind energy, etc. So this is an area where we can lead by example to other international big players like Germany, like Italy, whatever. And I'm saying this because we need to take the opportunity to be completely in active solidarity between ourselves. Now, as I said, I gave the example of the European Union, where of course once there is the agreement, it has to be binding on all the states. The problem with the Commonwealth is not that. I mean, it cannot bind any state. But on the other hand, Once we, as a result of this workshop, which is a clear example that we need to do things properly together, that is a clear message within the Commonwealth that we have to follow the steps that we are taking as a small state, and as an example also to the larger states within the Commonwealth. I mean, for example, I'm very happy for India that is part of the Paris Agreement and other big players, and that means that this clear example of this workshop is going to produce, in my opinion, the necessary positive address and results with regards to climate change. We had the experts in this workshop, and we had also not only the experts saying what we can do, it's the experts saying that what you don't have as expertise, we can provide you. So if we take, for example, the legal drafting or the legal jargon of the international conventions, the United Nations experts are providing assistance pro bono, free of charge, to those who are developing countries where they ask for that information. The same thing applies to technical support, the same thing applies to funding. So this workshop, there were states who didn't even know that this was available, and now they know that it's available, and follow up this workshop. We need to monitor now whether this assistance is being taken on board or not. Of course, the experts also went into detail with regard to transport. I mean, the alternative transport, that we have to go for cleaner air transport, for transport depending on renewable energy. This is something which was of paramount importance, and I think as a small state we can be leading by example, because we can organize much more ourselves, being small, into changing the traditional way of transportation to the new climate change transport friendly measures. We depend a lot on the trust and on the understanding of our constituents, what we are doing. We parliamentarians represent the people, so we have to go to the people and explain to them correctly, honestly, that there is no alternative. We don't have plan B. There's only plan A, because we only have one planet. So we need to address the challenges for climate change. We need to explain that these challenges are going to create greater opportunities. We don't need to worry about jobs. We will have more jobs than we have if we go for green energy. But once we explain to them, once we tell them in an honest way how we are going to tackle this problem, and also through our participation and what we say in Parliament, we have to lead by example. For example, we in Malta, we have an electric car where we do our administration work in our city with the electric car. You lead by example. And this is something that we have to continue, and we have an advantage. We are small, we are the small branches, so we can be easily accessible to the public to make sure that this message is always getting across the whole community. The last message is that this workshop was an excellent opportunity. It was a workshop that materialized and was realized in the expectations, and my message is clear. We have to continue on what we started in order to make sure that we, as small branches, small states within the Commonwealth, we will be the leaders in having the right messages for others to not only follow but to act.